I am very excited to be here today to talk to you about how Stanford has transformed the way we clean. Stanford is a very proud ASHE member and ASHE Platinum institution, and this cleaning program that I'm going to talk to you about, we actually use and contribute to our score to help us get there. So that's one connection. So where do I sit in the university? So for those of you who don't know, Stanford is actually a largely residential campus. We're one of the largest, while we may not have the largest student population, we have one of the largest amounts of residents that actually live on our campus. We house 15,000 students on our core campus and 319 buildings that are just housing dining, catering, cafe type facilities. So this is the area I work. We're about a third of the campus, the 319 buildings. I oversee 525 lease spaces. We have 8 major dining halls that serve around 3.5 million meals annually. So this is where we are primarily implementing this, this new cleaning program I'm going to tell you about. So at a very high level, Stanford has many sustainability goals. We're trying to be 100% renewable electricity by 2021, carbon free by 2025, zero waste campus by 2030, which actually these cleaning goals actually support. And then most specifically to this, you'll see down there on the lower right, we plan to be 100% ozone-based cleaning by 2025 across our system. And so that's the goal that I'm going to be talking about how we're meeting today. So what is ozone cleaning? So what you see on the screen here is completely my kind of viewpoint on this and my definition, I would say. So I see kind of, this is the spectrum of cleaning product on the market. So on one end, you have traditional cleaning chemicals, which hopefully you guys can all imagine those because I don't want to mention any. And then in the middle, I see green cleaning, which is, again, I don't want to mention any products, but you can probably imagine the things you think about when you go to the store or things you may be using commercially that call themselves green cleaners. And then on the far right, I see ozone cleaning, and that's what we're doing, which I see is the true heart of sustainability. So throughout this presentation, I use ozone cleaning, green cleaning to mean generally things that are better for the environment, better for human health. But really, I think ozone cleaning is kind of so far above and beyond where we need to go as a community, as a world. Into the future in terms of sustainability, that I almost even hate lumping it with like other, what is termed green cleaners on the market. And I just threw up here, this is like the Wikipedia definition of green cleaning because I thought it was pretty comprehensive just for those that need that definition. But this is kind of where I see all of these different things on the market falling. And so why do I feel so strongly about ozone cleaning is kind of next, and what is ozone cleaning? So basically, we have the scientific definition up here. It's basically you use electricity to add an extra oxygen molecule to O2, creating O3, and you infuse it in water. And so in simple terms, we are electrifying water. We are using a machine on site to create a solution on site for cleaning by electrifying it. Kind of an example picture of that is on the lower right. So why do I feel like this is so great? So what's great about creating your own solution or electrified water, or some people call engineered water, is all of these amazing benefits it provides. So once you electrify the water, over time, it actually just converts back to water. So what's better than that, right, for the environment? You're using water, you're using electricity, and then it goes back to water and oxygen in the end. So there's really no, harmful byproduct from that. And then the other killer benefit is that it is just as powerful as traditional cleaning chemicals on the market. So it kills mold, mildew, odors, stains, bacteria, viruses. Its kill time is amazing. It's like less than a minute. We have other products that we use in-house or have used before that have like a 10 to 15 minute kill time. This is more powerful and faster acting than bleach. I know I got a lot of bullets on here, but they're all really valid and important. Another one is I mentioned our zero waste goal. And by converting to ozone cleaning, we've really reduced plastic pollution. Think about all of the, by creating this on site, we are not buying all of those products anymore. We're not disposing all those products anymore, which is a lot of plastic. And more so, the company that we work with actually takes back the machines and the filters and refurbishes and uses them again. So really, it's a great partnership for our zero waste goal. Obviously, it's really great for human health. There actually is no PP&E required, and what PP&E stands for is personal protective equipment. We actually still ask our custodians to wear gloves and eye protective equipment, but it's awesome because we don't have to worry about them harming themselves by using it if it touches their skin or gets in their eye. There really is no harmful side effect, but we still ask them to wear it regardless. There's no smell to it, and I put that in quotes because if you compare the smell of it to any other cleaner on the market, a normal person would say there's no smell. But once you use it for a while, you can kind of see like a very faint smell. So I don't want to say there's no smell, but really when you compare it to everything else out there, there is no smell. And then the other beautiful thing is that it's completely multi-purpose. You can use it on everything from toilets to mirrors to glass to toilets to showers to carpet. It can even be a laundry detergent. It's pretty crazy. So one of the great things it did was it completely reduced our training needs and risks around using chemicals with our custodians. So the picture you see here on the left is our traditional cleaning cart. And at the time I started this over 5 years ago, we found in our inventory, we had well over 30 different types of chemical solutions that people were using. This looks like a very typical cart. You see probably like 16 different things, one thing for windows, one thing for toilets, one thing for glass, one thing for, everything. And you can imagine what it was like inventorying these, keeping track of these, all of the hazardous waste disposal surrounding these. So when we adopted ozone cleaning, we basically went down to 2 solutions, and that's all people needed to remember and know about. So on the right here, you see we have one solution, which is a multi-purpose for everything that I mentioned that it can do. And then on the right, the blue is a degreaser. So the only thing that this ozone cleaning solution doesn't do is degrease. And so we have to have a solution for that. And just to make sure everybody knows what I mean by that, for us, the main place that we're degreasing is in showers. So we have community showers where dozens and dozens of students will take showers in a given restroom in any given day, and they're using tons of products, right? Shampoos, conditioners, body washes, and all of that leaves basically great grease residue in these showers. So the main thing that we're degreasing on a weekly basis is our showers. And the main ozone solution is not going to degrease for you, or like on a very greasy kitchen countertop or something like that. So, so that's why we went from nearly over 30 to 2. So now that everyone has a little bit of background on what ozone cleaning is and the very high level what it can do for you, really it's, how did we get started? So we chose to pilot it at a sorority house of all of our 319 buildings, the Delta 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 sorority house, mainly because Taylor was living at the house at the time, and we knew we could have a great partner in terms of student communication, so it was kind of a safe place. But the other great thing about Tri-Delta was that it's in a place where there are 5 other sororities that are just like it. And by just like it, I mean as the exact same number of students, the building is exactly the same, the surfaces that custodians would be working on are exactly the same. So we had set up this perfect experiment where Lourdes, our custodian here, was cleaning with the ozone solution and Delta 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 and traditional cleaning chemicals in pi beta phi right next door. So we had this great base case and experimental case. So what were the results? So this was in 2015. So we did, we're at an academic institution, so we took a very research-based approach. We did pre and post occupant surveys. that revealed, so before we installed it, after we installed it, we had the students surveyed, saying how confident they felt that their space was being cleaned and how happy they were with it, because of course we wanted our occupants to be comfortable. And basically what the results of the occupant surveys showed was that students felt it was just as clean as it was with the old chemicals, and that's great, right? As long as they feel like it's clean, that's all we needed to know. And we had really high response rates. Almost the entire house were responding to these surveys, thanks to Taylor. We also had a lot of feedback from the custodian. We did frequently met with her to see how things were going, how it was like using the system with other, on different types of surfaces and different scenarios, and then how it was, using it there compared to pi beta phi. And then the most kind of telling thing for us is we also did bacteria testing. You can see on the lower right here, this is an ATP meter, and I did a ton of bacteria testing. So I would test with Lourdes right before she cleaned and right after she cleaned at both Tri-Delta and pi beta phi, so I could compare the results. And what I found basically was that whether she was using the ozone cleaning system or whether she was using the traditional cleaning system, right after she cleaned, the bacteria levels would be the exact same, or like definitely right around each other, which was at a good level. So both traditional cleaning and ozone cleaning were getting to like the same, good, quote unquote, good level of cleanliness. But what we found was, I also mentioned we tested right before she would clean. And what we noticed, what was cool about the ozone cleaning, was that the bacteria levels were always lower before she cleaned in Tri-Delta compared to pi beta phi. And what that told us was that the traditional cleaning chemicals was leaving a residue, and it was actually attracting, while they both got the houses to the same acceptable clean level after being cleaned, the traditional chemicals were leaving a residue and actually attracting more bacteria over time. So when we tested again the next day before she cleaned again, the ozone cleaning was actually attracting less bacteria, which was a really neat and cool finding that came out of this. So after we finished this pilot, my management was very pleased with the results. And so we ended up going out kind of with a RFP process where we invited several different companies that claimed to have ozone systems or had ozone systems to campus, and we ended up selecting one, which is the one we also ended up using at Tri-Delta, which is called Tersano. And the next question for my management, as we looked at expanding it after we had selected a vendor, was, okay, they said, okay, Kristen, you've showed me it's good for the environment. You showed me students feel their spaces are clean. The people side, custodians liked it, the students liked it, so that's the people side. It's great for the environment. So what about the triple bottom line, the profit or the economics of it? So we looked at chemical purchases across our entire 319 building system, and we looked at the payback period of investing and shifting over to this new system. And we found that the payback period for all of our buildings, they range because different buildings were cleaning differently with different amounts of chemicals. So depending on the building, the payback period ranged between 2.5 and 5.5 years. And basically here, anything with a payback period less than 5 years that kind of hits that triple bottom line is a go. It's a shoe-in. So my management was super happy about this. But I want to say, because I know it's very important to people thinking about this and the economics and finance of it, is the payback period that we calculated included chemical savings alone. So we were just looking at what we were going to save by not purchasing, all those 30 other chemicals that I showed you. We did not include any employee health benefits from not being exposed to chemicals any longer, or injury claims associated with chemical related or cleaning related injuries. We didn't incorporate any kind of environmental savings. We didn't incorporate the cost of receiving and distributing chemicals. We did a report later that found that we spend almost $2,000 a month kind of receiving, ordering, and distributing chemicals that would no longer need to happen. So that wasn't included in the payback period. And then things that we also didn't include but could have included, was any infrastructure upgrades needed to support the system. So you're generating this electrified water on site. So what do you think you need? You need water and you need energy. So we actually had some custodial closets that didn't have outlets. Buildings that were built in the 40s, 50s. We have buildings built, 100 years ago and this year. And so many of our buildings didn't have electrical outlets in the custodial closets. Some of them didn't have sinks. So in this payback period, we didn't include any infrastructure upgrade that was needed via outlets or sinks to support the new machines. And then lastly, something for you all to consider is convenience. So like I said, this machine is something, you're producing your own cleaning solution now, and one machine can produce a lot, right? And so there's multiple ways you can set this up. I've talked to others that are using this system, and you could have a 12-story building and only have one machine, but then your custodians are all going to one machine, every day to get that, and then they have to bring it to the various floors to clean, or to other buildings to clean. Or you can put like one on every floor in a 12-story building. So our strategy, and obviously based on, where you place these machines and how you move chemicals, varies your payback period. And my management's philosophy was that in order for custodians to really buy into this, it needed to be just as convenient as their traditional chemicals were. So any place in our system where a custodian would go to get traditional chemicals, we had to have a Tersano machine where they could equally, get access to that solution. So that affected our payback period because we basically have custodial closets with chemicals on every floor of every building. So where, one organization strategy might be one per 3-floor building, we have 3, one on every single floor. So that's something to think about. So where are we at today? So I mentioned we did that original pilot, one sorority house that went well. And so it's been almost 5 years. We are now in 70 buildings, which impacts 3 million square feet in our portfolio. We have 8,800 students and staff that are residing in these buildings and benefiting from this new type of cleaning system. We have over 85 full-time custodians that are trained in using it on a daily basis, and then dozens and dozens more of like temporary and casual workers. And we've calculated we're saving a little over 4,000 gallons of chemicals from being purchased and disposed of annually by converting to this. And I actually just hired a student intern who's looking at plastic pollution and how much plastic we've reduced from going from the landfill from this decision to support our zero waste goals and target.